Thanks to quantum mechanics, can atoms even be considered real?
What exactly are they? How can matter be based on something so vague? Nobel laureate Niels Bohr said, "Everything we call real is made of things which cannot be regarded as real." If quantum mechanics hasn't profoundly shocked you, you haven't understood it yet. So, has science reduced knowledge to a state where reality is predicated on unreality?
That's surely not a rational position. Nobel laureate Werner Heisenberg said, "I think that modern physics has definitely decided in favor of Plato." In fact, the smallest units of matter are not physical objects in the ordinary sense. They are forms, ideas which can be expressed unambiguously only in mathematical language. This is practically a statement of idealism rather than materialism. Heisenberg explicitly says that the smallest units of matter are not physical objects. What are they, then?
Non-physical objects?
Heisenberg literally says, they are forms, ideas.
That's an exact assertion of idealism. And then Heisenberg concludes, they can be expressed unambiguously only in mathematical language.
That's practically a full-scale endorsement of ontological mathematics.
Heisenberg said, in the philosophy of Democritus, the atoms are eternal and indestructible units of matter. They can never be transformed into each other. That should be regarded as the proper definition of materialism. It is predicated on eternal and indestructible units of matter, and these can never be transformed into each other.
The further you depart from that core definition, the further you depart from materialism.
Heisenberg said, with regard to this question, modern physics takes a definite stand against the materialism of Democritus and for Plato and the Pythagoreans. To take a stand against Democritus and to support Plato and the Pythagoreans is to take the side of idealism against materialism.
It's amazing that Heisenberg didn't become a mathematical idealist.
Heisenberg said, the elementary particles are certainly not eternal and indestructible units of matter. They can actually be transformed into each other. If they're not eternal and indestructible units of matter, then they are not elementary particles.
You cannot transform the basis units of existence.
They are what they are forever. They are eternal, necessary, immutable, and perfect.
They are like Plato's forms. They are pure, analytic mathematics.
Heisenberg said, as a matter of fact, if two such particles, moving through space with a very high kinetic energy, collide, then many new elementary particles may be created from the available energy and the old particles may have disappeared in the collision. Such events have been frequently observed and offer the best proof that all particles are made of the same substance, energy. Which means that energy entities, not particles, are the fundamental constituents of existence.
Basis energy cannot be transformed.
It is eternally and necessarily what it is. It can change how it is expressed via combination. This is the manner in which energy can be said to be transformed. Basis energy comprises basis sinusoidal waves, and these can enter into countless different combinations, thus producing myriad different expressions of energy.
Particles are temporal and contingent expressions of energy.
They are the basis of matter, but they are not eternal and they are very much transformable. Hence they are the actual proof that materialism is a secondary phenomenon of an underlying idealist, mathematical reality. It's not that there is not something that appears to be materialist. It's that this is mere phenomenon and it is underpinned by noumenal idealism.
Heisenberg said, but the resemblance of the modern views to those of Plato and the Pythagoreans can be carried somewhat further.
The elementary particles in Plato's Timaeus are finally not substance but mathematical forms. Don't you find it depressing that there is not even one person in today's scientific community in the academic world who is capable of developing what Heisenberg said?
Only we, in the whole world, are in that game.
Is there even a single scientist capable of understanding us? It's highly doubtful. Heisenberg said, all things are numbers is a sentence attributed to Pythagoras. The only mathematical forms available at that time were such geometric forms as the regular solids or the triangles which form their surface.
In modern quantum theory, there can be no doubt that the elementary particles will finally also be mathematical forms, but of a much more complicated nature. In fact, elementary particles are entirely derived from the ultimate ontological mathematical form, the sinusoidal wave, with no beginning and no end.
This is what energy actually is ontologically.
Not only can science not define matter, it can't define energy.
Math does both.
Heisenberg said, the Greek philosophers thought of static forms and found them in the regular solids. Modern science, however, has from its beginning in the 16th and 17th centuries started from the dynamic problem.
The constant element in physics since Newton is not a configuration or a geometrical form, but a dynamic law. Reality is actually based on eternal and necessary static forms, basis sinusoids, which, thanks to their mathematical properties, can generate temporal and contingent dynamic combinations.
It's tragic that science failed to keep asking the questions Heisenberg posed.
Had it done so, it would have eventually gravitated towards math, which is the self-evident conclusion of Heisenberg's line of thinking.